Madrid is back, and they are back to winning ways, and Kylian Mbappe is back to scoring goals, and Arda Guler is back to providing them for him. As Real Madrid beat Getafe 1-0 in a very, very boring, I'm going to be completely honest, such a boring, dull, uneventful game. But to be completely honest, whenever you see Getafe playing, whenever you see them playing, like, it don't matter who it is, where it is, or who it's against, whenever you see them playing, typically the games tend to be like this. They have a style of play, they have a way they like to play. To be fair, the bigger the team, the more they actually go further into the way they like to play and become even more reserved and defensive. But it was just uneventful. It just looked like, and I've got to be honest, for a long time and for large parts of that game, it just looked like we were going to leave with either nothing or just a point. It didn't look like we had any chance to get an opportunity. We weren't really creating anything at all. We weren't really doing anything. There was a couple chances for Mbappe. There were a couple. Like the one in the beginning of the first half where he had it on his left foot and he hit it right at the keeper. That was by far the best chance of the game if you don't count the 2 goals. Or the 1 goal, sorry. But really, that was the biggest chance and the best chance. Because even his goal, he had to turn, he had to look up, and then he had to look down, and then he had to shoot. It was all kind of fluid and in one motion. He didn't really have time to set himself. He had to kind of do everything straight away, one after another. Whereas with the opportunity in the first half, he had time. He was running, he was looking up, he could set himself. But besides that, there wasn't really anything happening. It was just such an uneventful, quiet game. I mean, there's literally nothing to talk about in the first half besides that Mbappe chance. Literally nothing. And even in the second half, actually, you know who can talk about? Jude Bellingham. Bellingham had an okay game, and that's being nice. He had an okay game. He looks like he's up and down. He's doing his Bellingham stuff. It's just, you can see he's missing match practice. You can see he's missing match sharpness. It's going to take him a few games. He's not going to just get there overnight. He's not just going to get there because he's fully fit and he's back playing. He will need a few games to get back up to the level he's at. But the most important thing for him, I guess, is just the fact that he got those minutes under his belt. Because like I said, it wasn't the best game from him, but we know Jude Bellingham. We know his level, we know what he can do, we know where he can go, and we know that he can win games for us by himself. So it's only a matter of time for him. I do want him to, or I think it's only fair that he gets a few more games before we fully start going in on him or actually holding him accountable for a lackluster or a quiet game. But it wasn't even that today. Like I said, he was good, he was trying things, he was moving, but it was just the way Getafe was playing and the way the game was set up, there wasn't much anybody could do. It wasn't just Jude. Like Mbappe had a quiet game. Rodrigo wasn't all that inspirational. Mastantuono was very wasteful. It wasn't a good game by any of our players, but that is more to say, I think, because of Getafe and the way they set up than us. I think, and I don't think I'm being too nice there. I think that is the case, but regardless, we won. That's the most important thing. We got the 3 points. We won. So let's move on to the second half and move on to the positives and move on to the man who stole the show in probably a good way, but obviously, you know, because it's him, it's only going to be negative. It's only going to be negative, and that is Vinicius Jr. Vini changed the game. He didn't change the game immediately. He didn't change the game a lot by what he did on the ball. It was off the ball. It was everything off the ball. Vini, people can't stop kicking Vini. Vini has had a knack since he was like 18, since he arrived at Real Madrid. And I don't even think this was in the first team. This was in the reserve team where I think it was an Atletico Madrid player in the Castilla who bit him in the head. And that was at Castilla at 18. He has been getting kicked and pushed and battered and abused and beaten up off the ball in La Liga and in football in general since day one. Since literally day one. And I am glad, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, I am glad we finally found a referee who's willing and actually punishing players for doing what they do to Vini off the ball. Because this isn't new. This isn't something that just happened today. This is something that happens nearly every game with Vini. He's always getting hit after he doesn't have the ball. He's always getting hit off the ball. He's always getting some sort of illegal foul. The best way to put it, because that is the technical way to put it. He's illegally getting taken out every single game, more or less, at least once, by one player or another. And it's never punished. It is never punished. But today, and I cannot believe I'm saying it again, I cannot believe it, but it was actually punished. First, Neon, for taking him out off the ball. The ball was nowhere near Vini, and this guy's putting his foot out and his hand out and taking Vini out. And then the other player, whose name I didn't even catch, but again, he went studs up on Vini. Did I say that correctly? He went studs onto Vini's ankle and took him out when the ball was long gone. I'm glad we've got a referee who's willing to address this and protect the players. The most important thing, he's willing to protect the players, and in this instance, protect Vini. Because both of those red cards were deserved. Both of them were definitely red cards, and the players need to stop doing that, and the only way they're going to stop doing that is referees start punishing it. So I'm glad we saw that. And the first red card changed the game because it allowed Arda Guler to find space in the middle of the park. And you just know, when Arda has space and he has time to get his head up and pinpoint where Mbappe is, you just know the next thing that happens is Mbappe's going to make that move and Arda's going to play the ball to where Mbappe is. And that's exactly what happened. We ended up not only going 1 goal ahead, but we ended up scoring the only goal of the game, which ended up being the winner. And like I said, that all came from Vini. It all came from Vini and the fact that he was just there. He was just there. And my man, because there was a player before Vini. The only reason Neon only just came on the pitch, the only reason Neon was on the pitch was because the player before Neon took Vini out and got a yellow card. And to be fair, that is contentious. That one, I don't know if it was or wasn't a yellow. I didn't really see properly on the replays. They didn't really go into it. They only showed a couple replays. And from the angle it showed, it was like, it could have gone either way. So I don't want to say too much about the yellow, but he got a yellow, he went off. And then the other player came on, Neon came on and got a red card within like 30 seconds. And then the other guy, for no reason, decides I'm going to just take Vini out as well when he doesn't have the ball and he gets a red card. So I've got no sympathy for those red cards and those players. It's very, very deserved and they shouldn't be doing stuff like that. Why are players causing injuries to their own professionals? Do you get me? There's so many injuries in football already because of the fixture list and the congestion of so many games. Why are fellow professionals trying to actively take out their own professionals? Do you get me? Like, I don't understand that. Player welfare comes first and foremost from the players. You need to be safe in the way you move and the things you do. And obviously you can't do that in every single action of every single moment and every single game. Sometimes accidents happen, but they all happen when the ball's in play. They all happen when you're challenging for the ball. They all happen when you're trying to make an attempt for the ball. Not when the ball's long gone and you're just trying to take man out for no reason. Because this happened with, who was it, that Paulista or Gabriella or whatever, Gabriel or whoever it was, that Valencia player a couple years ago who just took Vini out for no reason. Like, this is not new for Vini. This happens to Vini, and I'm glad we finally got a referee who's addressing it and taking players out or off the pitch for doing this stuff. But besides that, just before we conclude things, Endrick, once again, Endrick did not see the pitch. Once again, he did not get anywhere near the pitch and he's still yet to start a game or play for Xabi Alonso. Alonso's been the manager for what, 4, 5, 6 months now. He's been here for so many months. He had a whole club walk. He was injured. Well, to be fair, Endrick was injured for a while, but Endrick's been back, I feel like, as long as Jude and Camavinga have been back, or he came back before them. I can't even remember, but he's been back for a minute. And those two are not only getting minutes, but they're starting games. Endrick still hasn't even got a 5-minute cameo appearance. So I feel like it's time to make a video on Endrick, but we'll leave that for another day. The Clasico is coming up. Our next league game is against Barcelona at the Bernabeu. But first, we have Juventus in the Champions League. And I won the dub in both of those games. But we have to address the game that's coming up next, which is Juve. I am very much looking forward to that. I'm going to call the video there. Thanks for watching and peace.